Okay, cool. So if that spiritual principality is using a vessel, and that vessel has placed themselves in a specific energy or frequency to have that spiritual principality come at us, or at anyone for that matter, what do we do then? That person could be trying to attack an individual, and so does that person say, well, I know this is not you, I know that it's a spiritual principality. That spiritual principality is using that individual as a vessel to come after you. So what do you think you're supposed to do? So we have to be very mindful of that. So we can't sit up there and say that we wrestle not with flesh and blood and then allow somebody to just attack us and all this, that, and the third. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a spiritual principality, but at the same time, that individual is allowing themselves, that vessel is allowing themselves. So that vessel, the Most High God is going to have to deal with them accordingly, because they've allowed themselves to be in such a low vibrational frequency to have that demonic energy, entity, frequency, spiritual principality attached to them, that there's no way that we can just allow that to continue to keep happening. So with that being said, we have to be very mindful of who we allow into our space, into our energy, because we have to keep in mind that anybody that's in a low enough frequency can have energies and entities and spiritual principalities attached to them. But if that energy is being used to cause hurt and harm to us or others, why would people think that we're not going to do what it is that we need to do on our end to ensure that they don't get to produce a fruit? Because we know that the word says, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So we apply that. And at the same time, we have to use wisdom as well. We have to use wisdom. We can't allow people to think that just because the Bible said we're not wrestling with flesh and blood, to think that that's an access pass for them to continue to behave in the manner in which they're behaving and nobody's going to do anything about it. That's this bull. So I said all that to say, let's just be very mindful of the ploy, plot, and plan of the enemy, and what the enemy uses to try to keep people dumb and docile and in the dark in regard to the spirit realm, in regard to these spiritual principalities and wickedness and high places and things of that nature. They want you to think like, just because someone has a spiritual principality or energy, demonic energy, entity, spirit attached to it, that, oh, you're not supposed to do anything because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. That is ridiculous. I'm here to tell you that's utterly ridiculous. The Most High God doesn't want you just sitting there and getting abused and getting hit on and all this crazy stuff. Absolutely not. So just be very mindful. Although we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, if flesh and blood want to allow themselves to be used by spiritual principalities and wickedness and all of that stuff, then they can get the wrath of the Most High God as well. The choice is theirs. We all have free will. So however they choose to use that free will be solely upon them.